Shuan Head, a popular content creator on YouTube. She's kind of on the left spectrum when it comes to politics. I don't know if that's an accurate way to describe her, but either way, I follow her on Twitter, and she recently came out trying to pretty much say how, like, we need to draw a line on this children exposing to kinks and sexual stuff, and she's getting some pushback from it. And I'm going to read a quick tweet that she wrote in response to somebody, so I'll read the tweet she responded to first. So the tweet she responded to was, the notion that, let me get the full, show this. There we go. The notion that exposing kids to the concept of adult sexuality is inherently predatory, harmful, or toxic is really odd on the face of it, in my opinion. Seems to obscure the actual structures of abuse and power that victimize kids in real life. That makes no fucking sense. And then Shoe on Head responded by saying, I'm dying on the hill that children... I messed up. Too many things going on at once. I'm dying on the hill that children should not be anywhere near adult-themed shit, whether that be drag shows or kinks. And if the overtone window has shifted so far that I'm a reactionary for this take, then so be it. And I agree with her.
And I'll say these two words. Sodom and Gomorrah. This place gonna burn. This place gonna rain fire. It's getting hectic. We're literally trying to explain away our insecurities, or we're so firm in our insecurities. We're trying to force it on people so that way we can feel okay about it. And we know the earlier the better. So if you grow up thinking this, I feel better about my whole life. And so the more people that grow up thinking this thing, whatever the concept is, I just feel more secure with myself and my lifestyle and whatever it is. And so it's weird to me that now we're at a point where there are actual words that can be put into a sentence and not chastised completely. That the conclusion of the sentence is, we should let kids hang around drag queens. Like that's what he's saying.
I don't think.
I mean,
well, you're not. I completely agree with you, but I feel like in my mind, I don't go to he's saying kids should be hanging around drag queens. It's kids should be going to Pride. Because part of this thread, and I was following it, was people were showing clips of kids at Pride, and there was a clip of guys who have, I think, I don't know if it was a dom sub kink or they impersonate dogs, whatever that kink is called. Yeah. But there were 3 guys in their little leather outfits, and a girl was coming over and like petting them, little girl. Because she just assumed they were probably dogs in her simple childlike mind, but they were men with a dog kink. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it's like we shouldn't be exposing kids to this.
So to my point,
yeah, that's just a little weird.
Yeah, he's saying I think you said the Pride.
I just have a more extreme image in my head than you, I guess.
No, I agree with your imaging. Yeah, it's even higher than.
I would use a more extreme image.
100%. But I'm still there with you.
I tend to go there sometimes.
Go ahead, Doc.
No, well, I know gay men that also have like societal values. Like they're not all just walking around in fucking gimp suits all the time, and so to them like Pride is it's more like a May Day parade type deal. I think that's a band name, not actually a good thing, but yeah, it's just like a parade. It celebrates like their values and stuff like that. But you are right. Like some of them like they go overboard, and I think as time goes on, that'll begin to get censored.
100%.
Because it's like too much, or be like saved for like a night thing. Because it's especially like gay men that are growing into, I guess, trying, because it's weird like to put it into words, but like, the only way I can put it is like productive members of society. You know what I mean? Like. They kind of want to be taken seriously, and they want to also contribute like family values and stuff like that, especially if they're fighting for this whole like let gay fathers like adopt or let gay mothers adopt and stuff like that. They can't just be fucking walking around with like a dildo on their head and be like, yeah, let me adopt one. And you'd be like, what the fuck?
Well, let's do a realistic one. Assless chaps. You can't be walking around with assless chaps.
So I think like as those people get older and they kind of start to become more conservative in their adulthood, they'll start pushing that out of Pride and stuff like that.
I think they are, though, personally. Like, I think they are. Like, I have some neighbors in my community right now who are gay, and they, like, I'm not trying to expose them or say anything negative, but, like, or not imply anything. It's just, like, I have nothing, they're fine. They're cool. Like, they come around, they talk, they interact. Like, I I don't know them like that to engage them in conversation about stuff like this, because I don't know if that would be disrespectful or not. But I do feel like there is a sect within the gay community that agrees that, hey, I want to just be part of society without having to be this extra shit. Because I saw another feed when I was following this. Some of the alphabet community were saying we want the pride event, not a parade or whatever they called it. Like, there's a difference between an event and a parade. Like, we're not going out there to party. We're going out there to promote whatever they said. And I thought that was a good distinction. Like, they're doing this month or day for a reason. Don't abuse it for your sexual desires. Kinks.
That's my point. The words he used was adult sexuality, and that's my problem.
And
because
with
he didn't just say sexuality. He didn't just say learning about blah blah blah. He said adult sexuality. So the concept is not just sexuality, but the adult version of it. And so exposing kids to it is predatory depending on the type of environment. And so, like, it's inherent when he's implying that it be people from that community, because that concept of adult sexuality is way more complex than just sexuality itself.
I just feel like there needs a line that needs to be drawn, and there are some people in that community who don't want lines drawn. They want everything to be...
There are kids who don't completely understand how babies are made, but would be exposed to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, completely agree.
So is to me, when it's the adult word that's actually the most, I guess, condemning, because it's adult sexuality. You know what I'm saying? Like, adult sexuality, for example, when you're sewing, you're knitting balls and dicks for little kids.
Bitty bites or whatever they're called. Bitty
bugs? Sack something, whatever it was called.
Bitty bugs, I think.
Bitty bugs, yeah. And you're knitting yarn penises and balls for kids. That is a concept of an adult sexual concept placed on a kid. Because the kid's not walking around saying, oh, man, wish I had some yarn, dick, and balls. Like, they're not. But you're presenting this as an option now.
They're still learning what a boy and a girl is. Just because at their still growing mind that they say out of their mouth, I'm a girl, do you know what that means? Like, are you saying it because you like dresses and you like dolls? LGBT. Or you see your sister, something that you want? Like,
it's not just alphabet either. Men and women shouldn't just be having sex in front of kids. Men and women shouldn't just be overly, like, sexual in front of kids. So it's not even a discriminatory thing. It's literally sexuality, an adult version.
Yeah, because the issue here is, like, I think we all agree here. I don't care what you do in your private life.
100%. Do
what you want to do. If it makes you happy, you're not bothering everybody, go for it. Mm-hmm. Who am I to judge you or say anything about what you choose to do personally that doesn't affect anybody harmfully? But the problem is, like you said, and I completely agree with this, don't do it in front of kids. That's just, I feel like that's a line that we should not mess with, that I don't understand why they're messing with it.
And why do you have such an opinion on it? As far as, I hope this person has kids.
Well, it just seems that it's kind of a big deal. Like, figuring out whether or not they have kids. Because to me, the weird thing is the structure of abuse. Like, what is the structure of abuse that stands that this kid needs to be exposed to sexuality at like a young age? Like, the only thing I can think of is when people say that, like, hardcore Christianity suppresses sexual desire because it completely forbids it until marriage. But I actually don't, like, I feel like most Christians don't actually follow that anymore. And so
like, God
that's a little,
I don't know if that's a good thing.
That falls a little bit on deaf ears.
I don't know if that's a good thing though, personally, because I do follow Christian teachings, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm at a point with Christian thinking that, man, like, just don't kill. Just don't try and put evil into the world. As far as their rules, all the rules seem to have been born out of necessity at the time to end chaos. And so
I feel like the rules in the Bible, for example, the laws of Moses, are to help you apply structure to your life when you come to the realization that your life, not saying people's lives are chaotic, but I guess for me personally, when I started to really dive into my Christianity, was the way I was leading my life led to more chaos than I liked.
100%.
So the Bible helped me realize in the chaos that I was experiencing more often, maybe why and implement this instead, and it might help apply some structure and order to it, if that makes sense.
The Bible was made by very experienced people.
Agree.
So it's, in my opinion, it's not that it's not good information, wise people. It's not, I wouldn't say wise, but so for example, chaos happened. There was a lot of chaos.
Some of them in the,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was chaos. Eventually, throughout chaos, somebody was like, we have to stop this.
We have to get some order to this.
How do we get people who
structure or whatever,
you know what I'm saying, or feel like we're just doing shit just because to get in structure? We need a God. We need religion. We need order. And so all those laws at those times seem to me, when I look at them, to be trying to just install order and stop chaos, so that way society can progress to a place. Because now when I look at some of the things, it's like, that's kind of out of date. That kind of doesn't apply. Or now the problem is so nuanced that
we have a more understanding of this problem. That was like an immediate solution to the problem.
Exactly.
Now that we're able to contain this problem, to understand it and study it, we got a better way to deal with this.
Boom. And so that person had a lot of power. Because that person, technically, whether they heard it from God or not, that could have been the first lie. And then all our society can be built off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's why I say, just try and do good. Try and, you know what I'm saying? Just don't put evil into the world.
I mean, that's why for me personally, that was why John 3:19-21, when I first read that, bro, that hit me hard. And that's why I feel like that applies even now.
You mind saying it?
I don't have it memorized by heart, but basically, we love the darkness too much because of our sin to be exposed. But if we only walked in the light to see that what we do is in the sight of God. Here, I can actually pull it up real quick so I can be more accurate. Because I remember reading that, and that wasn't, I was like, okay, this might actually, I think it was the first book I read when I joined a Bible study was John. And then I think I came across that passage and I was like, whoa. International.
I think for this, man, like, I guess I feel like this person might have their own repression that they have to deal with. And so they're just like, we got to let nobody should feel like the way I feel. And so they're pushing against these structures. And to an extent, like, yeah, it can be overstructured to the point to where it's like just completely unbearable for somebody who's hating it, for somebody who's born into it. You found it, man. That's why you love it. But for somebody who's born into it, they know nothing else. They want nothing of it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the issue with a lot of it. So I kind of agree that, like, you should let people blossom sexually when they are at like a certain age, and it's far better for them to be ushered. And I don't mean like you like personally sexually ushering them. I mean like just like if you have like an 18-year-old that's just like, dude, I'm getting kind of curious, and you're a father, and be like, all right, so without being weird, like, what are you getting curious of? Like, how can I help you as best I can with that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that way you don't hit the same walls that I hit. Maybe you have your own experiences to better develop into a person and stuff like that. And obviously, like, as the father, like, you'll probably have to decide, like, whoa, you're 12, this is way too early, or yeah, you're 18, like, this is about the right time. Like, let me walk you through with this stuff and kind of deal with it together. Because it builds bond between you and them, and then I think, like, it destroys this concept of, like, I'm completely structured and I can't ever learn and nobody's ever helped me, and so I'm gonna hire my own prostitute at age 17 and figure it out myself and be like, dude, what the fuck?
100%. I agree with you. I agree. That's why it's just like, man, it just seems like people don't want things to flow naturally anymore. And it almost seems like whatever happened in their life, I'm not saying it was natural or unnatural, but the flow of things, because things were either forced on you or not forced on you, and you naturally came to the conclusion of your sexuality or whatever it is, why would you then turn around and try and take that opportunity from anybody behind you? Is like, that's what bothers me. Like, you came to your conclusion on your own, or even if it was forced, you don't want that. So why would you then either force it on somebody, or if you came to your conclusion on your own, why wouldn't you allow them that same opportunity? It just doesn't seem,
especially if they're not your
genuine.
Kids. Like, I just, like,
Exactly.
I guess that's why I have an issue with them doing it so publicly. That's why I keep it private, because, like, I don't want you affecting my kid. How I want my kid to be raised is not your business. Like, I won't, like, You can have opinion about it, sure, but don't affect it.
Like, I feel the same way about Boosie hiring a prostitute for his 11-year-old son, 12-year-old son, or whatever it was.
What?
Yes. Paid a prostitute to suck his 12 or 13-year-old son's dick.
That sentence just sounds dirty, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, that's really
And
weird.
I mean, it wasn't I mean, she was a prostitute for the moment, but it wasn't a girl that, you know what I'm saying? He's wealthy, so
Yeah.
he said enough money, and a girl's morals went low enough to goddamn do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? I
Got
feel the
put to
same.
the
I feel
test.
disgusted by that as well, equally as disgusted. That is wrong. Like, you just
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because what does that say to the kid?
And then how do
It's
you know
just-
he doesn't run through shit now and then end up not interested in that because it happened to him. It was forced on him. Now, as an act of rebellion, like, you just let stuff happen now to let people come to their conclusions. It's so simple. It's so simple. And so the fact that his opinion is,
Like I said last podcast, some things just shouldn't be said. We have a right to free speech, but there's just some things that don't need to be said.
and he had the words to say it, and it got retweeted. It's not even the quoted tweets. The quote tweets can be they can be people disagreements. The likes can
I
be
think
people
that's
just saving it for posterity so they can show other people or whatever. But there are 500 retweets.
I think that's the inherent flaw of Twitter, where it's just like you can say anything, and it's obviously the whole freedom of speech like dilemma. But it's like I've seen people get elated because their favorite artist finally said what's up to them, and like that's all they needed. Like what's up was it's 8 characters, so it's just like all they needed was 8 characters to make like a fucking year of their life. But then other people with more characters can ruin fucking thousands of people's days all at once. So it's wild.
Did it from his iPhone. He was on the go.
All right, let's get out of this tub shove deck. Real quick, let me quote the passage. Let's get out of here so people can hear it. So it was John 3:19-21. This is the verdict, New International Version. This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people love darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. But whoever lives by the truth comes into the light so that it may be seen plainly that what they have done has been done in the sight of God.
Accountability. Once you're accountable for your actions, you'll be free.
Hey, thanks for watching a clip of Fake Deep Thinking. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, like the clip, leave a comment, and check out our page for more content. Full episodes of Fake Deep Thinking are released every Friday on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Peace.